this here monument is to a, not the first priest, but a priest that was here, and he was here from about 1903 to 1935. He was the priest for this village. He was a Dutchman called Landerworth, and that was the Maori name they gave him here. Atirano. And so this is where after he died, he was buried at the church here, a Catholic mission. He was from the Mill Fathers, what they knew as the Mill Fathers, the Mill Hill. Mill Hill was an organisation for the Catholic priests, particularly the Dutch missionaries, came from here, from London, and a much later priest was Father de Bray, also from the Dutch side of things. So the mission had an ongoing interest in the people in the parish of this side of the world. The parish here, this was part of a bigger parish, and the parish here was established in 1886 by a Mill Hill father, a Mill father called Eklund, 1886, and the parish included this side, Oronui, Mokai, and all down here, and through to Waihi, big parish. So it was Dutch Mill Hill father that founded the parish, and then the priests came here for the at Waihi at the turn of the 20th century, rather. Now, why are we talking about the priests and that? The Catholics, especially with the TeWhare families, had got hold of many people to Catholic persuasion, both in the South and the Western Bay area. And seeing the Protestant missionaries here much earlier, when we were at Motutere, I told you about how the Protestant missionaries caused more division. And at the time, they were almost scornful of the earlier missionaries who were doing practical things for the Maori. The later ones, with the exception of the Reverend Grace of the Anglican mission, were more divisive, in so much they only saw their energy should be merely for conversion, not for practical things. The Dutch, having that worth ethic, the Dutch still have. I was talking to a Dutchman who came as a 10-pound POM voyage in 1952. I was just talking to him yesterday, and the work ethic there has turned himself and his children to very wealthy people. But with the Dutch, this person single-handedly brought in farming for the Maori, in the Maori community. He opened a community here, and he founded the butter factory single-handedly.
Adrian Langerworth.
Langerworth
must be German.
No, Dutch. Dutch, Langerworth. He single-handedly not only encouraged farming and industry and the practical things and needs for the Maori, and that was a success with the Catholic missions. The Protestant ones were mere conversion, repent and little more. And so the practical side got onto the Maori minds in the worship, and plus the ritual that some of the Protestant missionaries were completely lacking of with their teachings outside of the sacraments. So having established the butter factory, that went all the way from Waihi, this was going back to the butter factory site, and went all the way up to, on a daily run, the cream collection, and with the bales, all the way up to Waihora. Long travel, good 30 miles daily and picked up cans all along the way. Some of the most oddest places Maori were having their cows and doing the butter things. One horse was trained near near Whanganui to come down with the bullies and or the containers, and they'd offload to the boat and turn it around with the empty ones to go all the way up about 2 miles inland. So that was its horse's daily trip for the pail. So butter factory that stopped, and under his father, he then converted into sawmill.
That place down there.
The same place as the sawmill, same place, more work industry. By then he'd got a school put in. A convent had for people staying, and that school, convent, everything all run, and people employed throughout the village. So this started thriving. And when that sawmill, then, just prior to him dying, he died in 1935, he then used that same place to convert it by using the waterfall of power generation.
Oh, it's first hydro, wasn't it?
Yeah, so first hydro, an attempt about 19... and an attempt was made for a similar one for the Hooker Falls for the Wairaki resort. But it was the same principle here that he used it. And so it ended its days as a little hydro generation thing, which supplied the school, the community, the hostel, and everything else. So one person makes a difference. So that and people like that left a lasting effect on the village and the community and the people and the education.
So his Māori name was Pa Atirianu.
That's what they conferred on him.
What was his Dutch name?
It was Dutch when
Adrian
Lunga Wolf. But I thought it was appropriate. People not only know the history, the little industry that this once had, lost in history, but how one individual, regardless of the from the Mill Hill fathers, made so much ongoing difference.
Yeah.
So he put their practical part inside. Now today, what we're getting people accountable for ripping off the congregations and that the Americanization of conversion, the hallelujahs and that, and corrupt leaders almost every week being exposed at fleecing the flocks. So I want to just show this as a balance of how people in the old days and pioneering days they came and made.
Yeah. Saturday. Yeah, it's rotten. And then there was one day 3 women came and they said they were going to come and rebuild it. And I went, oh, you've got to be joking, you know. It's rotten. And at the back, it's all sunk into the dirt. The back window.
It's had its today.
Yes. And you know, one day something's going to happen. It might catch on fire or something. You don't know. But they're a nuisance. These people that come, because they never come to tidy up around. My son does it, you know, and then I'm moaning because I'm paying the petrol for the way he was, you know, doing that all. And they all these people who say it's their thing, but it's gonna hurt.
Can I go around to the back?
Well, it's very deep. You have to be careful because we've got a broken pipe over here. So,
Okay.
you know, you won't be able to really see anything. Yeah.
So the name of this Whaitaima is
Huia.
Huia.
TeWhare.
TeWhare.
You can't see anything.
That's okay. That's
Yeah.
okay. She lived here. My mum lived here. Right?
Yeah. Oh, we missed them out recently. We've had about a year, just over a year, that we haven't had mass because they no more priests, to come and take it. Yeah,
It's sad.
eh?
It's sad that
It
you
is.
can't worship without a priest to lead it.
Yeah, and not only that is like our priest, he's had he's very sick in a home and down Palmerston North somewhere, and we think, oh gee, Father, get help, because about over there was the first Māori. Māori, he's a Māori, Maxi Māori. Yeah, first Māori and only Māori.
He became first Maori bishop,
Yeah,
or Catholic bishop.
yeah.
I got photos of him, eh?
Hey, you got photos
I
of
knew
him?
him before he was a bishop.
Oh, I know
Yes.
Maxi. We used to call him Maxi Waxy, our priest. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the earlier ones, the first one I knew from this district was Father Debris.
Yeah, I've heard that name
Yes.
before my time coming here.
Well, I better not
Yeah.
show my age then, eh?
Yeah. Yeah, but it's sad because, it's got a lot of history here, this church,
Yes.
and yet there's nothing, you can't do anything. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's beautiful inside, so,
Beautiful.
yeah.
Beautiful. I'd love to go home.
I haven't got my camera, so I'll just stand and look. Two years without a priest.
Yeah.
A warm feeling to the place, hasn't it?
I find churches always do. Have a lovely sense of missing.
Have an idea, even the saint from the church was named after one of the Dutch saints.
Yes.
Mm. A young Dutchman's wife yesterday at Liston Heights. His wife, I'm sure she thinks I'm a priest. She keeps asking, but she's...
You read your last rites.
This is a very beautiful Whaitaima
We're
TeWhare.
just saying that.
Oh, the
Excludes warmth and everything.
and love, and there's just something about it, a very special feeling inside. Wow.
Even the saint, I think, is one of the Dutch saints that the church is named after.
That's a very beautiful building. Tēnā koutou katoa. Nau mai hoki mai ki Taupo Moana Record Keepers. It's Thursday, the 31st of March 2022. And we're here to do another historical walk and talk about a very beautiful place, which is Waihi Village. With me, Paul Jeffrey Addison tēnei, with me is Perry Fletcher and Te Whaitaima TeWhare. Over to you, Perry, before my dog pulls me over.
The dog's taking Jeffrey for a walk. Yes, we're just standing behind the foundations of the old concrete structure of the Waihi Dairy Company. It's built about in operation 1910, and the operation went right up the Western Bays as far as Waihora. At Waihora they had a jetty, and all the way up they had regular stops from the various settlements, and some were inland to collect and empty and collect and exchange the canisters of milk and cream. Yes, and and we're just round the corner from the waterfall, Waihi waterfall. So before we get too excited back in the past, we'll visit and view the waterfall from just round the corner here, and I can tell you something of who once lived there. Now, just on the left bank, on the rise, just shy left of the waterfall, that was where, in the whare, was the resident home. Must have happy to live with the constant noise 24 hours a day and night, was Iwikau. That's where Iwikau, the Paramount Chief's brother, lived. And he took over from the landslip that buried his people further down the road here. And
Is that Iwikau TeWhare?
yes. So he was Tukino the fourth in the pecking order, before Horonuku and his brother was the paramount chief,
So when
to look out and protect. And so that connects with certain events that happened, and the people were attacked here through some problems that were started, and Mary, the nutty Mary, they caused some upset and disturbance, and the war party came and attacked them. The cause of the disturbance was Rokawa were killed by Mananui and others over at Rangatira, by the point, Rangatira Point, and it was in Utua revenge that this party came here. And well, they were so frustrated that they couldn't overrun the pa here. That's when they went further over and to where we'll be visiting the Parikawa Pa, and successfully sacked that. So places, they look far from each other, but they're all connected historically, and everything had Utu and that had a cause and effect and repercussions for that. So Iwikau then, as I say, when the landslip in 1847 destroyed the village, including one Pākehā there in his Raupo hut, who no one mentions or wants to know about, down there. At the moment they won't improve the road or have the road any further graded for the fear that more human remains than that from that landslip might come up. So people of the village have said no to any upgrading, although with the private road line clause they can have it all done up and paid for. So now we're going to step back in time a little bit further. So Iwikau, he lived and wasn't part of the landslip, became paramount chief. On behalf of Horonuku was a boy, and he was raised in the over in the King country, and came later in as a paramount chief. But he was sort of disconnected to the history and the people of this area that happened when that happened. So Waihi. Now I recall we were talking at one time over my flat white in the fine fettle about photographs of spirals. So I precisely gave a descriptive account as to location. So now between my filmer and interviewer, can they find the site of the Waihi spiral?
I found them.
Good. Yeah.
Unfortunately, they're over there about 30, 40, maybe 50 metres into the lake, under the water. That's where I've seen photos of the rock. I don't think they'll have shifted. I think they'll still be there.
Well,
But the tide has to go out a bit more.
well, we haven't brought a snorkel and flippers, but my case, when I take anyone anywhere, even the location description, they say something's over there, you always point the other way. I can see it now. Now Jeffrey's just exposing it. Jeffrey's exposed it. But see how he's had to, before Jeffrey came, we were trying to feel it.
Oh, look at that. That's beautiful.
Beautiful, Jeffrey.
You film it from this angle.
I'll pass the camera to you, eh?
Oh, that looks lovely.
Yeah, Jeffrey.
Well, that is marvellous.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Woohoo, we did it!
Found you.
And we needed a low lake to walk to it. That's why I say the gumboots, and the other one is out there. It drops a bit, so you almost have to wade.
Ah, look, it's not even deep at all. We could go out and walk out and...
That does drop a bit, but then you need be just over your knees, I'd say.
Well, there we are. How subtle is that?
That's beautiful.
And really I was recognising that rock. I was looking at it, Jeffrey could feel it, and I just noted the indentations to identify it.
The hold.
Those little holes. Pool here is warm. One time that was boiling hot. So like the spirals, it's fading and fading away with that time. But the other rock there, with the spiral there, that needs wetting and rubbing. That would probably be exposed. But it drops down a bit deeper. But when the lake is like this is about as good as you could get. A couple of good rainfalls and all but this rock would be covered over.
Oh, look, I can see it. I can see it.
Yeah, I'm going to go out there.
Yeah, go out, Jeffrey. You can do it. There it is there.
I don't think that's one's ever been measured. I haven't.
Where's your rako?
See how it gets a bit deep.
Yeah.
That's why say with shorts and that. I couldn't even see this one. We had to feel it, and those three little dots and indentations gave me the clue. We lines up to that. Well, Jeffrey's making good progress.
There's the dog.
When he falls in, I'll try and get a pole to grab his hat.
Wonder how far back they've been identified as being in existence.
Only well, the only records I got photos about the first mention of them, so only from about 50s, 60s. It's hence Jared having these old photos. So,
Oh, well, I'll be able to send them some new photos now and say, guess where we were today.
well, he's...
He would have been excited by that time.
But the thing is, I stood there looking at the rock, same size, was it turned upside down? And then you had to feel it.
Yes.
And then I said, this is it, with the holes from the photo in my head. These are the holes. And Jeffrey wet.
And then out it came.
Out it came. It's magic how our little journeys.
Mm.
Wasp skins, wasp stings and a bit of skin and fur and left them behind, but it's making it enjoyable, isn't it? And we're at the village at Te and later, I believe more were taken over toward Pukawa. So in those days, it was wood was even timbers and that were recycled. Even the palisade posts were removed and taken for that purpose. So here we're on this still long wharf here, and some years ago, an avid bottle collector that was revered got some divers in to get the old wine bottles and that people would throw off the wharf.
Look at the fish there. Oh, it's a catfish. Look at the size of that catfish. It's the size of a trout. I thought it was a trout, but it's a catfish. Look, it's directly below us, right there. It's right there. Look where I'm pointing. Right below. It's coming out of the. It's right there. Oh, it's going into the deep now. It's in the shadow.
I see a modern bottle lying on the ground too. But, yeah, so interest was getting the old recovering the old wine bottles, things that were thrown off from here, and that's where Ryan used this wharf. Thomas Ryan.
Look, there's another catfish. Geez, they're the size of trout. I've never seen catfish that size. Washed up around Waitahanui, they're double the size down here.
Is it the warm water, eh?
I think because they've been established longer. Look at them everywhere. That's what's replaced the trout now. Catfish. Look over there, there's another one. Look at how big they are. Those are big catfish. Ko te ngoa Māori mo catfish ika wika. Whisker fish.
Remember there was a big trout one day at the bridge at Nongataha, the stream.
Mm-hmm.
And in the end, young Maori boy stood up and then jumped on it. Huge splash. Never saw what happened to a trout, but it must have gone quick as a blink of an eye.
Yeah, well, I found it depends. Like the brown trout is much more kind of dopey and docile than the rainbow trout, and it's much easier to well, in my experience, to flick a brown trout out of the water than it is a rainbow. But both of them can be put into a state of passivity.
Is that the end, Perry?
That's the edge. You got the landmarks all here. You got your pihanga and your
I'm just
Manganama.
getting that in the background. Okay, cool.
Oh, Jeffrey!
God.
Remember, you got to put a hole in it so
Yes.
you can tie it to
That's
the
why I
camera.
say I had a little cord on mine.
That's what we keep saying. But I forgot to do it.
Yes. I see a trout.
Oh,
It was a just
We need the sun, eh? We need the sun.
oh yes, I see it.
Oh, yes, there it is.
Or no, those are catfish.
How do you know?
Well, I can see by the way they're swimming. In the shape of their bodies. They're
that catfish.
yeah, those
The
are all.
catfish.
Is he following
Yes.
you around?
No, there's a lot of them. And they're huge. To me, that's a terrible sign. I've seen them like this big in Waitāha, but they're like this big. These are more mature. Look at it. Yeah, a bit of a wobble on.
I only just I've only heard the gun once go for the ducks.
Oh, that's a mai going over there. That's what those flashing lights are.
Mm.
In fact, all of those... What are those lights?
Money and tools and time that is spent on duck hunting, and the poor little duck doesn't have any technology.
At one time they were putting 100 weights of lead pellets into a lake here.
Yes.
Now that's they did not allow lead pellets in the shotguns, but that was what was used.
Well, they were estimating that a ton of lead goes into the lake every year just from people with sinkers and things that end up in the bottom of the lake. Sinkers.